How many times did the girl lay carpet?
It worked. What?
Remember, the owner asked her, he said that I have some carpet.
That's not Major League. That's basketball.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I still got it right.
I'm glad. All right. That is right. Yeah, because that's the one where the owner chokes on the hot dog.
Yeah.
I do remember the guy, the big guy that prayed to, what was the...
Joe Boo.
Yeah. And
Like I said, dude, I can quote that movie from beginning to end.
You don't have the marbles?
That's the second one.
Yeah.
You have no marbles.
No.
So, like I said, it worked too. I rebooted and updated, and it's working.
Good. About time. How's that bathroom coming?
Good. It's almost done. It's as straight as your handrail.
My hand railing is amazing.
We sanded it straight.
Yeah, we did. And it looks amazing.
Yes, it does. Coat of paint.
Coat of paint and a little bit of wood caulking, and we're good.
Just gotta fill the gaps.
Yeah. Caulking was made for people like us.
Oh man, there's so much. Oh, yeah. You gonna fix that? Oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
Caulk.
No problem. Smooth it out.
There you go.
Done. Yeah, how many professionals do you think they're like, oh yeah, we've known how to do this for years. They do something, they're like, oh man, let's use the caulk. Let's pull it out.
Well, we actually did some. Did we talk about this last week?
I don't know.
That Lay's potato chips has announced new flavors.
No, we have not.
Oh, is it cold in here? Apparently.
Oh. Are we cutting glass today?
I got AC. Yeah, there's AC in here. But yeah, if you're a fan of the All-American potato chip, let's face it, who doesn't love? I mean, you crack a bag of potato chips, dude. Before you know it, you're 3/4 of the way through the bag. You're like, well, might as well.
Yeah. Well, the tagline is "Bet you can't eat one," isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and they didn't come on that light. Like that was like, yeah, you can't eat just one chip. But they have 2 new chip flavors inspired by already existing snacks:
Throw down.
Doritos and Funyuns.
What?
That's right. Lay's is about to make your wildest dreams come true, and just in time for peak summer barbecue season. Because yummy goodness that is Doritos and Funyuns will very soon be available in chip form. So you will get...
I just need to ask a question.
You will get, if you haven't figured it out, Cool Ranch potato chips and Funyun flavored potato chips.
Aren't Doritos already a chip?
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically just going to get another shape of Dorito?
It's not a corn chip, though. Just saying. Like, some people may not like corn chips.
I guess. I just feel like it's the same thing.
You're going to walk in there and see Dorito-flavored potato chip, and you're going to buy a bag.
We walked into IGA and saw...
Cookies and cream Twix.
Twix. And went, what?
What is this abomination? I should get one, but I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Funyun one could be kind of fun, though. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, sometimes
is the Funyun a chip?
Stale tasting.
Is a Funyun a chip?
Yeah.
We don't really care for them, but...
I guess it's more like a cheesy?
Oh, you're talking like cheesy.
Did you call them something else?
Cheese poof?
Yeah.
Cheesy poofs.
With a hole in the middle.
Right. Just saying, I mean, like we need more snack foods in this country.
Sorry, I'm worried. Your wife said something about it being nippy in here.
Isn't that just sour cream and onion? No, it is not. Cool Ranch is not sour cream and onion.
Yeah, no, it is not.
Sour cream and onion rock. But let me finish. The Funyun one will be in the in the ruffle chip, the wavies.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be the wavy. And then the
A
actual
little
potato.
texture.
The Lay's Doritos Cool Ranch packs a real punch of zest and a little bit of spice. The Funyun flavor chip will be the wavy Lay's variety and feature the oniony goodness we all know and love. I should get paid for this.
You are kind of promoting it.
I know, a little bit. I'm a fat kid, though. I mean, I'm like, snack food, I'll
I'm
try it.
glad you've admitted it. That's the first step.
I like food.
I enjoy food.
I do. Oh, man.
Well, you know. You're like, hey, can you help me with my bathroom? And I was like, can you make me food?
Yeah. I don't have to pay Barry. I just have to feed him, which can actually get to be a little more expensive than actually paying him.
I do eat a lot.
Right? So there's that.
I'm all nervous about it now, so I gotta keep.
That's just my nipples that you can see. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
It's these new sweet. My wife got me these shirts. They're wick away. They're really light fabric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then they also show the details
The details.
as things get colder.
It's chilly in here, but I ain't going back outside because if I do, I'll burst into flames. Seriously, it is.
It is ridiculous. It is. This AC in here is blowing straight at me, and it's getting to the point that I feel like I'm shaking. But I don't want to turn it off because I know as soon as we turn it off,
It's just
I'm
gonna.
going to boil to death.
Yeah, it's gonna get hot.
There is no happy medium in this booth. We even have the door open. I thought that might help. But I think we're just cooling the outside now.
Right. So, but yeah, no, not bad. What, the bathrooms come along. We got your banister. I mean, we're gonna be, like I said earlier, we can build a house, man,
Yeah, we will have a crooked house, but it'll be there and it'll work.
and it won't even fall down.
I get just, for some reason, I see people being like, wow, how did they do that? So is that a thick layer of caulking?
It is. What's your foundation? Mostly caulk, but
And we didn't have enough cement, so we caulked half of it. It's bouncy.
what?
It's bouncy because if you use
Oh.
silicone, it doesn't. It stretches. So one side of your house goes up and down when you
Right.
jump on it.
Yeah, but as many of you know from listening to us, we do our conspiracy theories every now and again, and you found a new show for us to watch
We
yesterday,
did called it Conspiracies.
right?
It wasn't an hour.
It was about 45 minutes, yeah.
45 minutes.
And oh, so now they want us to talk about sports.
I don't. Okay, we're gonna have to.
We have to read about this now.
So our wives told us to stop talking about hockey so much because that's all we talk about. And now, because a trade has happened,
It's a pretty big one.
I know, but for the Blackhawks, which is your wife's team,
Oh, she loves them.
we are supposed to talk about hockey again.
Yeah. Which you don't have to twist our arm. We're gonna talk.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna talk about it. We'll talk about it. Marc-Andre Fleury has been traded to the Chicago Blackhawks. For those of you who don't know hockey,
That's like it's almost like Michael Jordan being traded.
kinda. Maybe, you all know Wayne Gretzky. Marc-Andre Fleury is probably like
I'm trying to think of sports that aren't hockey that people could relate to.
LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Big name. But he's one of the best goaltenders of the last 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got traded to the Blackhawks. So
Yeah.
Chicago, who narrowly missed the playoffs this year, and by narrowly I mean by like 12 games. So that should make one listener very happy if he's listening, Mr. Kewen. He's a big Blackhawk fan as well.
Yeah, I mean, I at least am glad that Blackhawks fans are going to get the opportunity to feel like they're going to go somewhere now.
Well, I don't feel bad because I root for a hockey team who's never won a Stanley Cup, and the Blackhawks have won several.
Yeah, but the one thing is, so the team that I root for back in the day won a whole bunch, and it doesn't matter.
You switched teams?
Toronto won a whole bunch
Back in the 1901s,
Yeah, back in the day.
back 130 years ago.
But I mean, in reality, it doesn't matter. You got to remember when Toronto and Montreal and stuff were winning those, you couldn't trade players. It was players that were from that area.
Right.
Now, when you look at a team, like you look at, I guarantee you look at Chicago, I don't think there's one player in there that actually is from Chicago.
From the United States, let alone Chicago.
Right?
Um,
So, I mean, I really don't, and maybe it's just because my team doesn't really win the Stanley Cup anymore, but I've really gotten to the point where winning the Cup, whoever won the Cup last year, it doesn't matter the next year.
no. Repeat champions in hockey are very, very rare. I think the last time it happened consecutively was Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
I know Marc-Andre Fleury won.
Did.
Did they go back-to-back, or did they skip a year?
Yeah.
Did they?
They got 2 or 3 in a row.
Well, I know they won one, made it to the finals, and then won one. But that was with Marc-Andre Fleury
And Sidney Crosby.
And Sidney Crosby. In my honest opinion, Marc-Andre Fleury definitely makes Blackhawks a playoff threat. They have the goaltending. And if you don't believe me, just go watch the Habs play this year. They made it to the Stanley Cup on the back of a goalie.
Yeah, but then it showed that, I mean, he must have been exhausted.
Oh, yeah. Like
he couldn't keep up with, keep going.
Right. He needed a little bit of offense.
Well, he needed to be able to have a break, but he just couldn't.
Yeah, they put in their backup goalie, and that was tragic. But definitely, the Marc-Andre Fleury definitely, and he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever see too. He's a super nice guy.
Oh, it's because he's Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
All Canadians are nice.
According to you, even the ones from Quebec.
They're not Canadian.
So he's not Canadian. You just said you just said he was Canadian.
Yeah, he is, but he's a hockey player, so he's actually deemed as a different. How would I put this? From a different location.
Yeah. But
we don't talk about Quebec.
But there you go. So they have a Vezina winning, and a Vezina winner is the most valuable goaltender. He's won it once for sure. I know that much.
Well, there we did.
A bunch of cups.
We
talked about it, right?
Now let's get back to the conspiracy.
The conspiracies. Oh yes, there were conspiracies. So a little background. It's just it's a show on Netflix, right?
Yep.
And
it's called Conspiracies.
Conspiracies, right? I think they saved probably the best one and most believable one for the first episode to pull you in.
Yeah, we'll see what the next ones are.
Right, because we didn't actually look to see what the next ones were. But this one, and I've actually heard of this conspiracy theory before, was about Adolf Hitler actually surviving World War II, where he didn't commit suicide in the bunker.
Yeah.
Which was wasn't really very surprising to me because I've actually heard this one before.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it is weird that Germany was the one that announced to everybody
that he had died.
And the thing that really got me with that was Germany was huge on media propaganda.
Oh yeah.
Like that's how they spread every lie that they did to make
they were well known for blowing over loudspeakers over battlefields that the United States is lost, that the world is now ours. I mean, they were just, fanatical about it. But the theory is, this conspiracy theory says that body doubles were used. Now, they have confirmed, this is fact, that several world leaders during major world wars did use body doubles.
Yeah, even the
Churchill had one.
He was the president at the time.
Churchill was not a president.
He
was.
I don't know these people.
Right. Because England has a king or a queen. So Churchill wasn't a king or a queen. He was just the prime minister, I believe. Or big guy in charge of war, military. He had a body double. Stalin had several. Go figure. I can't imagine why people want to kill that guy. And then, so it's only logical to think that Hitler had his own. Yeah. So they said that they put a couple of body doubles in there, and
what was it? They said Germany said that he had shot himself, and then they took the body, burned it, and buried it.
And then
tell anybody where.
Right.
And then Russia, 26 years later, said that they had the body, but didn't want to tell anybody until then.
Yeah, and then they found the skull fragment with a bullet hole in it. Yeah, and they did DNA testing on it. The problem with the skull fragment was it wasn't from a male; it was from a female.
But I was thinking about this.
Maybe they shot his wife as well.
Adolf Hitler was a woman.
Ooh. No, I don't think so.
You never know. Like, wasn't very tall, wasn't a bulky man. Had like maybe it was just glued on the little.
Definitely wasn't a conspiracy theory show because that was awful. Like they're like the guy's like, I can't grow that kind of. Who could grow that kind of mustache?
Yeah. Well, the one when they showed the angle of him, like when he had shot himself, and it was just showing his lips, and he was just laying there. You could see
the tape.
Yeah, you could see the glue.
Right.
But to me, that's always when you see that, I'm like, this is authentic.
But they got deep, right? Like, okay, so that he faked it. Well, where did he go? Well, we already know that several Nazis after World War II fled to Argentina. This is a fact. We went there, we found them. They even made a movie about it, right? And who's to say that, well, and didn't you see the pictures? They're like, well, he disguised himself.
Oh, yeah, all the different things.
Things that he, like, I mean, you get rid of his mustache and you cut his hair different, you're like, you would never know.
I did think that it was kind of neat seeing, like, you could tell all they did was just shave the mustache or even grow it. They grew it out to be more like an American.
He's got his own mustache. Like, he's so well known. You're like, well, it's the Hitler mustache.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I could have been a body double. You wouldn't have to look anything like him, but if you had that, that's all they needed to see.
No, I mean, how many people have you ever actually seen wear that mustache?
Only when they're trying to mimic him.
Right. So, but yeah, and then they did find a couple of U-boats that were over by Argentina. So I just, my curiosity got to me, like, how did he get out of Germany? I mean, they were completely surrounded by the Allies.
Well, and like they did say, like after the war, and they got to do more searching where they're finding like all the gold stashes, and then they found those like
tunnels.
Huge underground tunnels.
Yeah,
like
and they're still finding
millions of cubic feet worth of tunnels. That
no, cubic meters. Get it right.
Was it meters?
Yes, they measure, because I asked you, because I'm not Canadian, I don't understand metric system. I'm like, they're like, it's 1,000,000 square meters, and I'm like, is that a lot?
Yeah, it's like it's about 3 houses.
Yeah, because I don't do meters.
No, but I thought it was very.
Well, but as it went on, the guy's story got thinner and thinner and thinner. So yes, did he escape to Argentina? I believe that he could have. Do I believe he did?
Well, I think a lot of the stuff they did was throwing in all the conspiracies in
one story.
So it was like, one conspiracy is that he wasn't killed and he escaped, and that's the end of it. He just escaped and he's somewhere. And then another one is he escaped to, what was it, Alaska? No, not Alaska. Antarctica.
Where they had, because they had, oh yeah, I forgot about the Hitler stash. The Charlie Chaplin had it. We got people interacting, and someone I've never. We thank you for joining the chat.
I believe that Charlie Chaplin actually did it mimicking him during the time.
It could have been
because he was trying to make fun of him during the war.
Right.
Because I'm
not. We don't know. We don't know, and it's in our headline. We don't know.
But I do know Charlie Chaplin. I just can't remember. I think he was around during that time.
He was a silent film guy. I don't know if it was during or after World War I.
Right, because like himself, he didn't actually have it. He wore it for when he was doing his shows. It was his iconic look.
Right. So, but anyway, they jumped into the the Nazis went in, and this is another fairly well-known conspiracy that they built a super base on Antarctica. My issue with this is Antarctica was frozen solid. Like, how are you going to dig a hole? I mean, we've all gone out to our yard and tried to dig a hole when it was freezing and the ground solid. Like, even with modern technology, it's extremely difficult. Chaplin was first.
Yeah, I was just reading, and I can correct myself. So Charlie Chaplin actually added the mustache to his costume, so it wasn't when he was walking around just in his costume, because it had comical appearance and was small enough not to hide his expression.
Right.
So maybe Hitler was a fan.
Maybe. He could have been.
And if you think about it, if he did throw that in, it wouldn't hide the expression. Maybe Hitler used that as a way so that he would still have that, but then be able to
Yeah.
show facial expression.
So, I mean, what do you buy into that the Nazis? I mean, the Nazis dug some deep holes. I mean, everywhere. Do you think they could have drilled through solid ice in Antarctica, in a completely frozen solid continent?
You know what? I feel like they could have, but I don't think they could have made a base.
Like, because they
I
say
feel like they could have went down there and
they say it had enough for what 500,000 troops.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of resources and where would you get the heat? I mean, you're gonna freeze to death.
Well, that's just it. I don't think that they would have been able to. I think they could have started building something, but never been able to finish it.
No, it'd been too big.
Back then, it would have just been too hard
and taken too long.
Right now, that is That is the harshest climate to try to be in.
There's reason
people die going to the bathroom out there.
There's a reason people don't live there.
Yeah.
Right now, right?
Like
it's just the penguins, man.
Well, because it's the only place where there's emperor penguins.
Right.
And so it's the only place that people can go study them. And I only know this because
they go there during the summer when it's only 60 below.
Sammy watches that show called Atypical, and the kid in it wants to go to Antarctica to study penguins.
Right.
But I mean, like in that, they explain how dangerous it is, and they do. Like if you look into it, people have died going to the bathroom.
Well, and the thing is like when it's summertime up here or wintertime up here, it's summertime in Antarctica. Havre has been the coldest place on the planet. Only because it's summertime in Antarctica and they're only 55 below zero and we're 60.
Yeah. We win.
Nailed it. So yeah, I just don't. Do they have the manpower? Yes. Did they have the technology? I don't think so.
I don't either. I feel like I think they could have went down there. I think they could have.
Oh, I'm sure they were down there trying to see if they could do it.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we were able to go under the water there and explore a little bit, that you wouldn't find some of the boats.
With the heat lately, give it some time. I mean, it's just going to melt.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll find it. Man, what happens if it melts and all of a sudden they're like, why is there this giant base in the middle of it?
Yeah, you can fit like 500,000 soldiers here.
They did it.
Well, I mean, even after World War II, like for years, they were finding soldiers on Okinawa who had buried themselves in the Japanese that had never surrendered. But they didn't know the war had ended because they were dug in so deep. But then that guy was like, well, the reason we believe that the Nazis had this big thing down there was because, well, in the 50s and 60s, the United States sent a huge armada down there. And they said it was for war games to this. He's like, well, no, you send 2 battleships, an aircraft carrier, and a bunch of subs because you're going to hunt Nazis out. I'm like, or train, because we were in the middle of the Cold War and we couldn't use the Arctic because, well, that's where the Russians already are.
Yeah.
They wouldn't like us being up there.
Yeah. I don't know. It is kind of weird. Like, I still think of the whole thing, the weirdest thing is that the German Nazis, because not all Germans were Nazis.
No.
So the Nazis there are the ones that announced that he killed him. Like, they would have hit that. Like, if you were in the middle of a war,
you don't tell them your president or your leader has died.
The only way that I could see that you would do that is if, first off, you didn't like him anymore and you killed him.
Well, let's be honest. Several of the Nazis didn't like him. There were several assassination attempts on Hitler that never came to fruition. They didn't work.
Yeah.
Yet again, another movie, probably not super historically accurate, but Operation Valkyrie did happen, where they tried to assassinate Hitler, and they thought they did. And it turns out they didn't, but
just shaved his mustache
slightly. They misplaced the briefcase.
I mean, the only other reason why I think, besides them just they killed him, is if it did happen, they were afraid of being steamrolled. Right? So you would announce if they, because I'm not a history nut, so I don't know how close the Allies were to winning at that point.
They were surrounded. That's why he was in his bunker.
Right? So it might have been a way to be like, he's gone, we surrender. Right? Because he wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have surrendered.
Right.
So I would feel if I don't think he took his own life. I feel like somebody took it and then surrendered maybe.
But back then, it would be easy enough because you don't have social media.
Oh no, yeah.
So a body double, easy. And let's not forget, a bullet to your face is going to mangle your face.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you slightly resemble, all you need are major facial features to be close. Yeah. And they did point out that they used dental records in that show to match that. The job, they found a jawbone and it matched the dental records of Adolf Hitler. And
but then the thing is what if those dental records were easily forged? Yeah,
forged, right? So, do I believe that Hitler made it out of the bunker? No, but there is a possibility that he did.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
maybe that's why we still have Nazis today. Because they're not a big number, but there are still people that believe in that.
Oh, and then it got into how the Nazis are still in control with they created the EU. Oh, I'm not even going to try to, because I suck at economics and stuff like that as far as understanding how that works. But
well, what was it, the big hole that you poked into it?
What's that?
What Nazi would put a woman in power?
That's true, because they've got what's her name?
I know the England's.
Yeah.
I don't know her name.
But she, yeah, like I don't think Nazis would do that.
No. Yeah, I don't. You know.
But then they're like, well, and then they got into the whole thing that there's still millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of gold, art, and stuff that are missing. And I'm like, it's easy enough to know where it is. The soldiers pocketed it when they found it. Like if you or I walk into a giant, and they said they found these things. They found these giant stashes that were bigger than buildings, filled with art, full of bars of gold. You're a soldier in World War II, carrying 60 pounds of gear already. Slip a 4-pound gold bar in your pocket.
Yeah, well, I mean, the gold bars, like, people are thinking the Nazis made like gold bars that you see in Fort Knox.
Yeah, they
actually made them like
small,
almost like a credit card.
Right?
They're just a little bit bigger, but
they're still
in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, and you could easily put them in your pocket.
Yeah.
Or in your pack.
And I mean, like we were talking about, if we had been soldiers and you did that, yeah. Like, why would you? Like, where does it say that it's a crime to?
It's not in World War back in World War II. You could send home war prizes. There were soldiers sending home German rifles, German helmets.
So my grandfather was in. Well, both of my grandparents were in World War II, and I have a watch in my basement that was. He said that he didn't have to fight any of this stuff. He was 16. He lied about his age, and they found out. So they kept him at the back line, and so they would do cleanup. So they'd walk through, and he said that he came across a tank that had been destroyed, and everybody looted. So as soon as something was destroyed, they would just loot it. And he said he went in, and he had noticed that there was a damaged pocket watch. So I have that pocket watch in my...
Well, I would remind you that pocket watch could be extremely valuable, because back then they built things so much better, and they were super accurate.
It's pretty cool, because I wanted to go see if I could get it fixed.
It probably cost you, because they may not make the mechanisms and stuff for it anymore.
So I opened it, because I could open the back, and it's got real emeralds on the little tiny emeralds on each gear.
Yep, that's a very expensive watch. Don't ever lose that. I mean, that's a piece of history too. Yeah. I mean, let's not forget. I mean, because like now everything's made pretty much to be disposable.
Yeah.
You wear it through its lifespan and you get rid of it. Well, back then you could only afford one pocket watch in a lifetime, so you needed it to work.
I always looked at it as it's like kind of cool knowing that. Well, it's sad and cool, right? Because knowing that watch was in the hands of,
See, this is pretty cool. Thanks for the comment. The Evil One Rabble. Is that a guildmate?
No, I don't know.
Oh, well, anyway. His grandfather has an old suitcase filled with a German officer's daggers, swastika emblem on them. That's sweet. I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's history and all. I mean, it was a terrible war, but I mean, but it just goes to show that we looted just as much as they did. Like, people are like, oh, they were so bad. The Americans did just as much looting as any of the Germans did.
Well, so in the end, they got all that money. They're not going to go, oh, let's give it to all the Jewish people that suffered.
No.
Right? So where did it go? It went to the countries that won.
They sent it home to their families in care packages. right? And you and I had said, well, what about the gold bars? Because they literally stamp swastikas on all their gold bars. Because do you know how I mean, you can rub gold with your hand and it'll eventually flatten out. Just keep because it's so soft.
Well, keep that in mind. All of the gold that I have that is now like a green color and stains your hand, it's because I just rubbed it too much.
Right.
It's actually.
But I mean, you just heat it up and hit it with a hammer, and your emblem's gone.
Oh yeah, and like it would be so easy. Like you said, you could use your own barbecue at your house and
Yeah.
melt it down.
You don't even have to.
You could just pour it into a model. Of
You don't even have to melt it down. Just get it hot enough to where it's soft, and the emblem will disappear.
I think the only stuff that people wouldn't have pocketed was like an original Michelangelo.
Well, they couldn't, right?
Yeah. So like that stuff, and I mean most people too. If you think about it, if you're helping a country, if you came across art, that stuff you're like that's part of history. Gold bar, not part of history.
That's gold, dude.
Yeah, like
and we got to remember, back in the 40s, we were still on the gold standard.
Yeah.
So, and they found tons and tons and tons and tons of the gold. No one's going to know because they don't know how much they took. So no one's going to know 2 or 3 bars here and there are going to miss.
Yeah. Man, it makes me. Nah, I never would have wanted to be in that war.
Oh, I don't want to be anymore.
I would have been the guy that got killed instead of finding the gold bar.
Well, there's still people out there looking for, even on the other side of it, like the Japanese. They plundered a bunch of gold and silver from countries too,
yeah.
And they buried it in the place that are uninhabitable, and they're still booby trapped. You still can't get to them.
That's why you need a really good friend to go in first.
Right. You constantly hear about it, though. Somebody's like digging a hole in their backyard in Germany, and hey, look! Oh my God, I found a stash of.
Picks it up, landmine.
Oh, that's gonna suck too, though. I mean, think about it. All the landmines and stuff that were buried, and you still got sawdust right now.
I do.
That's what you get for doing your deck.
Yep.
You hear it all the time, though, of people stepping on mines from World War I and II.
Well, I mean, a cool thing though, like I was just thinking about it, like we get to see pictures from World War II and the destruction and the cities that were just demolished. That if you go there now, are completely rebuilt and thriving because Germany is actually.
It's one of the most powerful, which is one thing they pointed out in the conspiracy theory. Like, they lost the war, but how did they gain all of this wealth? Where did the wealth come from?
Wealth because there was Germans that weren't Nazis,
right?
And there were still countries that the reason why World War II happened was because of how poorly people treated Germany after World War I. Right?
And you assassinate one guy, and yeah.
Well, because
that was
in World War I, they had to sign a treaty that said we caused the problem, and it wasn't just them; it was many more players.
Well, and the treaty also said they wouldn't build an army.
Yeah.
Whoops. They wouldn't build arms. Whoops. I mean,
they also made it so, like, I don't know if you remember, but there was pictures back in World War I of guys with buckets of money from Germany that would barely buy them enough for bread.
Yeah.
And that was because of the treaty that ruined the country.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's how Hitler moved in, because if you look throughout history, every time
you know what that guy did before he went into the German military?
Oh man, he was something weird.
He was an artist, a very bad one.
Yeah.
And the interesting fact is that he almost died 3 times before World War II. One time as a kid, he fell into a well. Guy saved him, right? Damn it. He's in World War I. A soldier was like, it was like after a major battle. He almost died of mustard gas once, but he was standing on the lines, and he turned and looked, and there was a British soldier with his Enfield rifle pointed at him, and the guy didn't pull the trigger. Like 1 out of 3 things, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much different is history if that happens? If the outcomes of those 3 different events is different.
But I feel like if it wasn't him, it was going to be somebody else.
Oh, definitely. Well, you still had Stalin and Mussolini. I mean, and these guys were.
Well, like if you go back through your history with every major kind of war, whenever a country has been like just demolished and made into poverty, they all of a sudden rise and become a formula.
Well, and people forget, like, yes, Russia was eventually an ally. They started out as an Axis.
Yeah,
Hitler,
they're kind of still in the middle. I think.
Hitler turned on him, and Stalin went, "Whoa, bro! You said you weren't gonna." And they had the army. They didn't have. Well, that was the best thing. Like, you see this in movies, and it's actually true. If you were in the Russian military, you got in line, you got a rifle. The guy behind you got the clip, because the guy in front of you is going to die. You're going to pick up his rifle, put the bullets in the gun, and start using it. Because they didn't have enough arms to arm their army. But they had enough people, but not enough arms.
God, I couldn't even imagine that.
And the Russians, like, if you turned to run during a battle, they had their own guys set up with big machine guns to mow down their own deserters. Yeah. So, I mean, they didn't exactly treat their soldiers well.
Ryan is not a historical movie, but they did take things that actually happened in the war to make it feel more realistic.
Right.
Because that happened with the Germans trying to run away.
Oh, you watch Enemy at the Gates, which is about Vasily Zaitsev, one of the great snipers in Russia, from Russia. And it shows it. Like, their army was just getting demolished and the guys were trying to run. But there's the Russian leaders just like, nope, mow them down. They're deserting. And it shows the scene where the guy's getting a rifle. The next guy in line gets the clip.
I still, I can't even fathom where you think that would work. Because if people were retreating and running, at least you would still have the numbers to come back.
Live to fight another day, man.
Right?
No surrender, no retreat. Well,
no.
At some point, you're going to strategic retreat, right? There is the strategic retreat.
Like, if you showed up with 10 people and a guy's about to drop a nuke, you don't go, we got this.
I can take it. Get behind me.
Yeah, we might want to go. Yeah, get in the fridge.
Arrow roulette. I'm out. I'm the first one gone. I don't even volunteer for that game.
Yeah. Well, then you get shot in the back as you ran.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like you lost, Derek.
Right. So there's a history lesson for y'all.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I think that's a fun conspiracy, and
but it's actually, I think it's believable. Like, it's not those conspiracies that, like, you start watching, like, oh, they got you for like the first 5 minutes, they've got you hooked, and then minute 6, you're like, oh man, this is terrible.
You mean like the Sasquatch we were watching, where it eventually turned into like?
I think they were just trying to make it so that
you would watch it.
Well, that, and they wanted to make it look like the people who were growing pot in California were really the good guys. Yeah. Illegal pot farms.
Well, nobody was using the land.
So how do you make this more interesting? Easy. You throw in a bunch of Mexican immigrants and some Sasquatches, and people want to watch it.
Yeah, and getting killed by
Sasquatch, right? Yeah. Murdered by Sasquatches.
I saw it, man.
They use Sasquatches to guard their farms.
It looked me right in the eye while I was smoking.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It sounded like it said, "Can I have a hit?"
Well, why is it that the most Sasquatch sightings happen in the Emerald Triangle? I have no idea, man. I seen one the other day, though. I was picking strawberries.
That reminds me when I was younger and I was doing that. And I remember I heard a noise in the woods. And my buddy's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I think the Ninja Turtles are after us." I was like very adamant that it was the Ninja Turtles.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not against, and I'm not going to start the Sasquatch conspiracy. I'm not against there being something like that existing, but I'm thinking if there was one somewhere in Montana, it would be a good place to find one, but it's probably mounted on some dude's wall.
Well, what was it Sammy said? She said, "How do you know the Sasquatch is a male?" And I was like, "Because women don't have big feet."
It's true.
Right?
Oh, man. So there we go. There is our conspiracy, and we'll have another one next week, I hope.
Yeah, well, I know the next one because I did look.
What is it?
It is, I think it's about, it's in the royal family, so it's something involving that. My guess is going to be probably the assassin.
Oh, Diana.
Yeah.
That whole, yeah.
And that was like, I know for you guys, it would have been like a,
No, it was a big deal.
And where we were, it was huge.
Well, because isn't Canada still pretty affiliated with Britain and all that
It's
stuff?
more along the lines of we're just good buddies, right?
Like
So-
you guys aren't really British anymore, but we still feel like it.
Well, so like for us, we asked for our independence, and they said okay.
Because it's cold up there, man.
Yeah, but they said okay.
Yeah.
And so people think that we were forced to honor like the Queen and.
You have your own queen, don't you?
We don't have that. We just have.
Oh, yeah, the Prime Minister.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least from my understanding, we just honor it because it was we asked. They said, yeah, okay. So our roots come from Britain. Why wouldn't we? And it's not like she sits there and she does have a say in anything we do,
Right.
but she never has once went against what we wanted to do. Because if she did, stuff would go down. I almost said a word I can't say.
We need to go put some music on so Barry can use his proper language.
I should put some music on.
For you radio listeners, we will put some music on.
I'm going to put some music on. And if people want to hear the adult version of what's going down, they need to go onto our YouTube
Check out our YouTube page.
on Average Rants.
Average Rants, yeah.
Oh, Hootie and the Blowfish. Here we go.
Your wife's giving you a history lesson about the Queen of
Oh, I know.
Canada. The Queen of Canada.
Rise above the rest. I like Hootie and the Blowfish because they're Canadian.
They're Canadian. Oh, so we've talked about potato chips,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now this is big news, man.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
So I was going to say, shit would go down.
right? If what were you talking about?
The Queen.
Oh yeah,
If she went against something that we were voting on.
oh yeah. In Canada or in Britain, because you don't have a queen in.
Well, no. So, like in Canada, we make things and we make decisions and we send them through our parliament, and then it kind of goes to like the Queen too.
You have a queen?
No,
You
it
just told me
goes to
no.
the Queen of
Oh, England.
and she does have a say in it, but she can't like boycott it, but she can vote against it. But she never does. So once everything happens, it goes to her, and she's just like, "Yep, go for it."
Nice. Well, any bacon lovers out there?
Me,
Oh man, I love bacon. Why? Because you can put it on anything. And I'm not joking. You can put bacon on anything, and people have. Bacon may disappear in California. Sorry if you live in California. As pig rules take effect. How would you feel about losing bacon?
it would suck because about what we're gonna eat tonight.
Yeah. That would make it so we have TLTs.
Yeah.
Turkey, lettuce, tomatoes, and not BLTs. Anyway, thanks to a reworked menu and long hours, blah, blah. Whoa.
Swish.
At the beginning of next year, California will begin enforcing an animal welfare proposition approved by voters in 2018 that requires more space for breeding pigs, laying eggs, chickens. It's just going to get harder and more expensive to get pork.
Huh. Is that in California, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're banning high-end PCs too.
Well, because right now, national veal and egg producers are optimistic they can meet the new standards, but only 4% of hog operations now comply with the new rules. So apparently they're like puppy farms, but pigs, right?
Well, there probably should be something to stop that.
Right? I mean, we as a nation are like, we're over consuming everything. We can't keep up.
A good thing that I heard say is and it's big in the United States, but North America basically in general, is we're overeating but starving to death.
I'm not.
Right? Well, it's the saying
Right.
of you're just eating all the time, but you never could get enough.
Right. And we discussed this. Why is California banning PCs? High-end gaming PCs?
Because of the power consumption that they found that they are using, and because so many people own them now,
Right.
they are actually higher on the list of what's consuming power when they're in a shortage rate.
I mean, I feel bad for you guys in California. Not only can you not play video games on high-end PCs, but now you're not going to be able to eat bacon. I mean, that's what you do. You wake up in the morning, make some bacon, and play some games.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm glad I bought mine when I did. Because now, because a lot of companies build them there.
Yeah, I think they'll still be able to build them. They just won't be able to use them.
I don't know, because I just know that they're banned in California. So I don't know if it's the.
Well, is it like? Because this is a fun fact. Jack Daniels is produced, made, and sold out of a dry county in Tennessee. No liquor or alcohol is allowed to be consumed in this county, and yet it's the producer of one of the largest and most famous
because they would have to
liquor companies.
They'd have to have a tester randomly, right? Because you have to have somebody that goes, yes,
They spit it out.
You still, no matter what, are consuming a small amount.
I'm just saying.
It touches your tongue.
You
have absorbed the alcohol.
Why are you arguing with me?
Because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
I can't argue with them.
The Tennessee whiskey is created in a dry county. It's one of those weird things.
Why did I take my hat off?
Because you were getting
I was hot.
serious.
Yeah.
You start talking about video games and bacon, and now whiskey.
Whiskey is a bad thing for me.
I think no. If we lose alcohol, shit has hit the fan. We're screwed.
Oh, we're gonna have a war. A civil war. You and I will be like whatever.
But everyone else
would have her.
How did you survive the pandemic? Lots of liquor and beer.
Well, I don't know how many people, because you would be cautious with who you hung out with, made sure that they were like distancing enough. Like we didn't even hang out too much because we were afraid of stuff.
Right.
And every person that I talked to when stuff was starting to open up were excited about bars.
Well, yesterday, you and I went over to your house to hang out, and we're like, what are we going to do? It's like, well, we could go to the... No, I don't want to go to the... I mean, everything's alcohol around here. Like, we have a lot of bars.
I was going to suggest going bowling, but then I was like, usually every time I try to go there around here, they say it's lead night.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you take away alcohol during a pandemic, oh my God. I mean, it's over.
Yeah.
What more can you take from me, man?
I almost wonder what would happen if you told the United States, and you're like, okay, our hand's been forced. We have to either remove alcohol or your right to bear arms. Which one would get taken away?
Oh my God.
I feel like in the end what would happen is everyone would grab all their guns and alcohol and just create a militia.
Don't worry, they're going to drink themselves dry soon enough. It would be an easy decision for me. I don't drink much anyway. I don't really care. But it wouldn't, and I'm not, and I've said this a bunch of times, I own several guns. I take advantage of the right to bear arms, but not to go after my own government because they'd kick my ass.
Yeah, they would.
I want to get into I want to have someone here who's like, I'm doing this so in case the government comes after me, I can defend myself. From what? The M1 Abrams? The stealth jet that just hit you from 4 miles in the air? Really?
Well, I feel like
how's that AR treating you?
I've talked to some friends about living in Montana, and I'm like, they could nuke it and nobody would know.
No, because you're gonna miss a lot of people.
Well, it's so spread out.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
you take a drive though through southeast Montana, western North Dakota there, and South Dakota, you'll just see these little, they're like 50-foot by 50-foot rectangles or squares that are just barbed wire. Those are silos with missiles in them. So if somebody's going to strategically hit the United States, that's what they're going to hit.
Well, actually, all they'd have to do is just take out the internet.
Yeah.
I can't remember what movie I was watching. I was watching something. Oh, that Sweet Tooth.
Oh, I've never seen that.
The animal hybrid people. One guy says a really good line. He's like, everything was fine, man. And then they took out the internet. When the internet went down, that's what things
honestly,
got.
like, okay, so now we're getting into it. You're taking away bacon? What? Alcohol? You better not touch my internet.
Oh man, we'll still be on the radio because this is not.
Yeah, this is not internet, so
But
you guys
have to be local.
Yeah. Oh, you guys got to be really close too, because there's certain parts of this town that don't even pick up the station.
I feel like if there was a zombie apocalypse, we'd be the guy that is in that trailer still broadcasting. Yeah.
Oh no, like in what movie is that? 2012 with Woody Harrelson and he's broadcasting live from the Yellowstone Cauldron. It's got John Cusack in it.
I can't think of the name.
What?
I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, it's called 2012.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's an apocalypse movie where California literally sinks into the ocean
Oh.
because the Earth's core is thinning and oh man,
I was thinking that Eight-Legged Freaks. With the conspiracy guy that's in his trailer broadcasting on the radio about stuff. And then when he's like, what is that? And there's one of the spiders on the...
Oh. Yeah, in 2012, Woody Harrelson plays a conspiracy guy, and he's actually right. He's not wrong.
Every time you say it, you're like, in 2012, he played... I'm like, yeah, but what's the movie?
In the movie,
I get that, but
right?
that's just not what it's...
But he drinks beer and eats pickles, but he's like broadcasting live over the radio from his RV from the Yellowstone Cauldron, which is about to blow up.
Mm.
Which, if that goes...
We'll be okay.
I'll just get my marshmallow skewer and
we'll have peanuts.
Mm-hmm. I have cashews. Why do you keep putting the lid back on your nuts? Because you're just gonna take it off in 5 seconds.
So that everybody hears it shake.
Oh, are we ready to go live again?
Oh,
On the radio?
I probably played a couple songs.
Oh, that's good. I hate that song anyway. My sister put that song on repeat.
Torn. Nothing's quite I'm torn.
Yeah.
I'm all out of faith. And we're back, and that was Torn. One of Derek's favorite songs, he told me.
Yeah. Hate you. Hate that song.
But you are listening to Average Rants here at KNMC
90.1
FM.
That's right. I can't help but smile every time we do.
I know. It's like we kept talking about a jingle, and all we needed was just work together.
Well, and it happened one week where I just said it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, FM. So we are on FM radio.
But I got to do community stuff again.
Again. And again.
So we've got Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that will be on August 5th, 6th, 7th, and that'll be at 7 p.m. at the Holiday Village Mall. You can go to Montana Backbreakers Theater online and then get tickets. Also, Chili Dog Days is happening August 6th at 4 p.m. at Vizsla?
Vizsla.
Dang it. Vizsla Brewing. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's chili dogs, people. Go out there and get some.
Oh, man. I love chili dogs.
Right? And my wife will hate me afterwards.
You sleep on the couch again.
Hey, that was for normal reasons, not because I was in trouble.
Yep.
August 10th, Show Talent Productions presents the Vegas Variety Show. That's at 7:30
Oh, hey.
at the Haver High School.
This is happening Monday.
Oh, did you find something on there?
Yeah, the Haver Kids Matt Summer Theater Camp is tomorrow, Monday, August 2nd, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Through Thursday. Registration is $50 for a child and $35 for each additional child. Yeah. Get camp safety guidelines and register online at mtactors.com/kids, whatever that symbol is, Matt. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, I love that. I'm just going to say this one because it's funny. It's like free music and air conditioning.
That is a plus.
With Mary Stevens playing the piano at 10 a.m. in Haverhill County Library. Everyone is invited. So if you're sitting at home, you're like, man, it is so hot. I wish I had some air conditioning. Go to the library. They got air conditioning and music.
They might be able to rock some crazy piano too.
Right? Maybe a little Jerry Lewis, man. Great Balls of Fire. There you go. Oh,
I'm actually cold.
why? Why?
Because you stand off to the side.
No, it's hitting me. I can feel it, and I don't know if you've noticed.
Yes, I can see your nip. Cutting glass over here.
But I'm in the comfortably in and out zone. I'm half in, half out.
I'm full frontal.
Have you tried backing up a bit?
I don't want to. I'd be too far away from the mic. I don't
Yeah,
know if
too
it's
far.
back.
Yeah. And nobody can see your beautiful face.
That's right. Oh, there is something else going on. I gotta remember. It's the Rock Lotto. I should really be advertising that because that is for this radio.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to attempt to read the last line of this.
What is it?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you to try to read it.
Oh, our newspaper strikes again with the. Oh, it's because you're not printing for them anymore.
It's not because I'm not printing for him anymore. I just noticed that it chopped off the bottom of the page.
Yeah, it says water and project along.
So apparently, H, the evil one, Rabble, knows who I am, and I just don't know who they are. Because didn't you just print that paper? So now I'm intrigued.
Who is this person? Well, my buddy from back home said that he is watching our stream, but
Well, he was. You messaged our group?
I sent it out on however you send it. I don't understand technology.
You understand technology better than I do.
Yeah, I do.
Although it is good to see that several people have seen your Hockey Man video.
What? People actually looked at that?
A few have, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Oh, young Barry.
You know, if you shave, you look the same.
I know.
You just got to wear a hat so your gray hair doesn't stick through.
I like my salt and pepper look. All right, so the K&MC Rock Lotto 20th anniversary party. That's going to be happening Saturday, September 18th
Oh, it's Hayden. Hi, Hayden.
at 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you don't know what the Rock Lotto is, you can go to the KNMC 90.1 FM's radio, Facebook, and you can go and you can sign up, and you can literally pick whatever you do. Do you sing? Do you play bass? Do you play the guitar? Do you do background? Do you just play a triangle? They'll take anybody, and then they throw all the names of, like, say, every singer into a hat, and they're drawn.
It's a lotto, dude. I know what a lotto is.
I'm telling the people.
Oh.
And
You're looking at me like I'm an idiot. Don't know what that means.
I'm really telling it to you. But and then they just make random bands with the people that they draw. So it could be fun. I signed up for it. Don't know why.
Because you like to make a fool of yourself.
I just really like karaoke.
And
I used to
there's
sing.
probably alcohol involved.
But the thing too that I'm worried about with this, and this will be just my little thing, is I like to sing country, and I'm very select on, like, rock or, like pop rock or that kind of stuff that I can sing. I'm afraid of getting into a group and they're like, no, we only do death metal. And, and you're just like,
Are you saying death metal singers can't sing?
Yeah, they can. They can scream really well. It's just like I don't think rappers can sing. I think that they can talk in rhythm very well.
I think several rappers and death metal singers in here would beat you right now.
They could try, but then I would get a lot of money.
Taking y'all to court.
Yeah.
You're that guy laying in the hospital bed, is completely bandaged up. Still can't sing. Oh, what should we talk about now?
I don't know. We got 1 hour left.
1 hour.
Listening to
1
us.
hour. God, you guys need something better to do.
We can talk about how you noticed that you had poop on your hat.
Apparently, must have been when we golfed yesterday.
Yeah, bird pooped on you.
That's what I wear a hat for. I always get pooped on my head.
I just thought it was because he saw how you were playing.
I was playing like crap. I know that much.
You started getting better near the end.
Yeah, I did.
Took a hole off.
Took a 10. Sometimes you just have to take a hole off and get your ducks in a row and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, a killer whale was stranded on the rocks in Alaska and was saved after a group of people spotted it and kept it wet until the tide rose. Good on you. I like to think I'd do that too. I'd just be terrified the thing would eat me.
What whale is going to eat a human?
You not remember the story a few weeks ago where the dude literally got eaten by a whale
Because he was in the path of the fish that he was getting.
and the whale didn't care.
It spit him out.
Eventually.
Yeah, because it realized that's not a fish.
And he had two broken legs and a broken arm. And this whale doesn't have any teeth.
Hmm?
But
He was almost gummed to death by a whale.
By a whale. The orca was seen ashore of Prince Wales Island off the coast of British Columbia. You ever been to British Columbia?
I lived in British Columbia.
I'm just asking. Vancouver.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been up to Squamish too.
Oh, okay. That would be crazy to be like walking along the beach and see like a killer whale that's like stuck there. You're like,
Well, I'm going to teach you a fun fact. Did you know they're one of the smartest whales?
they are probably the smartest whale.
And they're the only whale that they've noticed that depending on where their herd is from, they have different vocals. So
yeah, but they're compared to wolf packs because that's how they hunt and that's how they act. Like they have
like seals, they'll tip it up and make it fall into the other ones.
Yeah, like they have a similar. I believe it's like back in evolution that they have a similar ancestor. Like it branched off. One went to wolves and one went to the.
If you believe that, hogwash.
Science doesn't teach you nothing.
No, but I was watching that. I think it's called Black Death, and it's a documentary about them.
Oh yeah.
And it actually isn't as violent as it sounds.
No, killer whales had a bad rap. They're orcas.
There has never been a documented case of one being attacked to a human in a wild. Now they have attacked in captivity.
Yeah, well, because they locked me up in a cage.
Yeah.
Right. Like, who's not gonna bite you?
Yeah. But I mean, in the wild, they're seen actually swimming up to people and trying to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think dolphins are the only that are smarter than them.
If that, the dolphins are mean.
And
They're the only.
they're very touchy-feely, from my understanding.
They are the only animal, at least that I've heard of, that rapes for fun, besides humans. Like,
I don't know how to respond. What do you want me to respond?
you can't, because everyone's like, "Oh, it's the cute little," kind of animal. But it's like they can be evil.
True.
Or a killer whale just is like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
It's a lot of weight to throw around, though.
Yeah.
like we've all seen those dogs that are like 80 pounds. I think they're lab dogs, and they just lean on you. Can you imagine if like a orca thinks like, we're just buds. I'm just gonna lean on. Crunch, you dead. So yeah, there was that. But they saved it. They saved the poor killer whale from drowning until the tide came in and it was able to get out.
You know, the other thing you got to think of though too is, what was the whale doing? Was it just like, "Oh man, I'm just relaxing, water goes down"?
That's my thing. Like,
no,
because it's not like the tide goes out instantly. Like it takes a while.
This whale was just chilling.
Maybe he fell asleep.
Oh yeah, having it.
Maybe it was the Barry Brownlee of killer whales, and he was just chilling, and then he woke up and was like, "Damn it, again."
Looks like I'm waiting for the tide to come back in.
Hope somebody notices, because
Oh man.
and then all of his because they work in pods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd Barry go?
He probably got stuck on that rock again. I told him to stop sleeping by it.
But it's a comfy rock,
Yeah,
man.
every time the water goes out, you're stuck. And they're like, "Oh look, a human's trying to help him. He does this all the time."
He's such an attention grobbler.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna get his face in the newspapers.
But I mean, I did like that. One of the things with them was that there's documents that they can figure out which pod is which based on the tone that they. So they have like accents.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of cool with like the
with a southern accent. Where's he from? Georgia.
I wonder why. I don't even know. Like, because I mean, like a normal whale would just be like, whoa, right? Would it be like, y'all?
What's a Canadian one sound like? Eh?
Yeah, it would be like, or sorry.
Oh.
Like that one?
like the lap dog that leans on you. You crush that. Sorry. I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Speaking of marine life, Sharks Evander Kane, hockey player, moving on, denies allegations he bet on NHL games.
But throw the kicker in.
Yeah. Apparently, his former girlfriend, soon to be ex-wife, accused her husband of betting hockey games. And apparently he was trying to lose these hockey games to be on the winning end of these bets. Now, we've heard of this before. Pete Rose, he admitted to it. He gambled on baseball. He bet on baseball while he was a manager for the Cincinnati Reds. But he never bet against his own team. He bet on his team to win.
Yeah.
Like, you can't throw a game to win unless you pay off the other team to lose, right? But in the end, you don't make any money that way, right?
Yeah.
But I guess it's like the Chicago Black Sox in the 1900s. Like they tried to throw the World Series because, well, they weren't getting paid enough, and they wanted to move on. But back then, like you said, you played where you played. There were no trades. There was no free agency, and the team owner refused to pay them. So what they did is they threw the World Series. But a bunch of the team admitted to doing it, except for one. The pitcher never actually admitted to doing it. But Evander Kane he's a big high-end player.
Well, I just wanted to look to see how much he's paid. So he was paid $6 million, and just this talk alone is like when you were talking about it earlier today a little bit. All it made me think of is how bad gambling is for people.
Right.
Like, this is a guy that gets paid $6 million a year.
Well, is it a year? Is that
That's his yearly salary?
Oh, Jesus! He's one of the highest paid hockey players.
Yeah, and
for those of you who don't follow hockey, like hockey players don't make a ton of money. I mean, they make a lot of money, but you consider baseball, football, basketball. These guys make tens of millions a year. Mm-hmm. Hockey players, the highest end players, make maybe $10, $11 million a year.
Yeah, 11 I think is the highest.
Like, I mean, and there's only like one or two that are there.
But you look at that, and I mean, if you're making $6 million a year, most people, I feel like they gamble. Like, you get some that do it for fun, but he's clearly got a problem,
right?
If he's doing it to throw games.
Now, and I will make this: he has denied. Well, of course he's going to deny this, right?
Well, and I mean, it could be because it is his ex-wife.
Well, not yet. Seems to be. I mean,
right. Well, so there's two sides,
right?
But we don't know for sure because we don't know nothing.
We know it's right on the page. We know nothing.
Yep.
But I mean, wow. And hockey is one of those sports. If you're one player on the team and you play bad enough, you can tilt it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you're like, "Oops, I hit my goalie."
Right. And I mean, he was a Golden Knight, wasn't he, last year?
I think so. Yeah.
He's the guy, and I pointed this out. He was the guy who cross-checked the Minnesota Wild player into his own net. Remember, I showed you he smacked his face off the crossbar, where the puck was nowhere near that play. So I've never really cared for the guy as a player myself, because I think he's kind of a dirty player.
It's because he's from Vancouver.
Vancouver are dirty hockey players?
I don't know. It's not where I'm from, so I can say that.
You've lived in Vancouver.
I have.
Are you a dirty hockey player? Not while I'm playing.
I lived in Vancouver, yeah.
not while I played you. You're not.
You've seen me play against some other people. Like,
I've never seen you go full tilt.
No, but I can be dirty.
No, you can't.
And I'm very polite about it.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. Now I just picture a killer whale. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, and another thing I wanted to talk about. Let's stick with the sports a minute. We're going to get away from hockey, though. Olympian Simone Biles. She's got enough Olympic medals.
Oh, the gymnast.
The gymnast, right? She's one of the best gymnasts in the world. She pulled out of the Olympics this year due to mental
didn't she?
mental exhaustion, and
she did the high bar.
she did some stuff. Yeah, she did, but she pulled out for like the two final events. But she said she was just mentally not in it, and her body didn't feel right. And there are people just crushing her, saying she quit. This bothers me on a number of levels. First of all, she's the best at what she does, and if you want to question that, go look at the list of stuff she's won. Mm-hmm. And she holds world records. She's got all the medals. Second of all, if you have mental health issues and your body isn't right, the last thing you should be doing is competing at a high level in something that is extremely dangerous and can seriously injure you if you're not in it 100%.
Yeah. I
mean, how many athletes have you seen that went out and played at 90% and all ended up getting hurt worse just because?
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible. And mental health, and we're finding this out now. I don't know why it took so long. We're slow learners, apparently, as a species.
It's because we've got mental health issues.
Your mental health is more important than your physical health.
No.
Like if your mental health is gone, I mean, physical health it has nothing to do with anything. I mean, what's the point?
One of the crazy things is like when people have something like that, and they're like, I can't believe that she'd do that. If it were me. Well, the thing is, it's not you.
No.
And you haven't put in that amount of work.
She's been
she does.
Olympians start this from the age of walking, right? She's probably been in gymnastics since she could walk.
You trying to say that I should be in the Olympics for hockey? Thanks, Derek.
No. They wouldn't take you.
I'm too good, I know.
Or old. But her Olympic career, most Olympians' careers are over by the time they're 28 years old, 26, 28, right? Very few go into their 30s. There are some. I'm not saying there aren't.
It's usually hockey players.
Right? Joe Thornton?
He's 42 this year.
Yeah. And is he signed yet?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But anyway.
Oh, man, I should check. Did he retire?
But I'm saying, I find it sickening to me that people will go out and say this about a professional athlete who believes that they are not in the right mind and their body isn't in there, and they're dogging them for it because they can go out there and possibly ruin the rest of their career. I mean, she's not very old. I mean, she could compete in the next Olympics, probably the next two.
Yeah.
Because I think in the Olympics, you only need to be like 16.
Well, it's another one of those things where, at least for me, I don't mind the Olympics. I enjoy watching some things.
Oh, I love There's nothing greater than Olympic hockey.
Well, but people get so competitive even when they're not in a sport.
Right.
So you're getting all the people that are like, I can't believe she would do this because they're like, America needs more medals, go get them.
What I don't get are the guys like, I'm a huge football fan. And so me, football, you hockey, right? Have you ever been so disappointed in a player on your team that decided to go to a different team where you burned your equipment?
No.
Like, that's outrageous to me. People do this. They burn their jerseys and stuff because they're like, oh, he's abandoning the team. No, he's not.
It would be a jersey that I would hang up on my memorabilia wall from when they used to play.
Right? Like, if somebody offered you a Carey Price goaltending jersey, you hate the Habs, but you're going to hang that Carey Price jersey up on your wall.
It'll be in the bottom corner.
And you're like, look, there's Carey Price. But you just got to move the box out of the way.
Yeah, he's just behind there.
You can see the name, but you can't see the toilets.
You'll be like, you've got 2 Toronto jerseys with no signatures, and you've got a Carey Price one in the corner. Yeah, what's their point?
It's signed.
I didn't like the pen mark on it.
Right. But yeah, I mean, people are so sports oriented. She's only okay. Simone Biles is 24 years old. She can compete possibly in the next 2 Olympics.
Yeah.
Summer Olympics are every 2 years. So,
I think people are just they get competitive for dumb things,
right?
When it's not even something that affects them, right? Like you and I'll get competitive.
Oh, I've
my
seen,
team wins.
dude. I watched you play. We were playing D&D, man, and we had the Toronto game on when they were playing the Habs. It was Game 7. And we're playing, and you were just eyeballing that TV, and you were on fire. Like, Barry, it's your turn. Huh? What?
I kill things.
Like, whatever. And you. But when the game was over and you guys lost, like, oh, whatever. It's my team. It's what they do.
Yeah, I still cheer for them.
Yeah, but you weren't going to go out and burn your jersey.
I did throw the jerseys harshly into my closet for a day, and then the next day I was like, I should really hang them back up.
I don't want them to get wrinkled or dirty.
That was my.
What did you do the day after they lost to a Zamboni driver?
Oh, I didn't even care about that. Like, everyone was like, I had so many messages because I feel like I'm the only Leafs fan in Havre.
You're the only Leafs fan in this country.
Right? So every time something happens, like I've got kids that I coached.
Right.
They still message me when Toronto loses. So they'll be like, Donovan is one of them. He was like, hey, the day after Toronto got kicked out, I got a message, and I was still on my rage a little bit. And he messaged, and he was like, hey, how's Toronto doing? And I was like, I want to hate you so hard right now. But I just messaged, was like, well, they're golfing.
They lost to Carey Price. What's your point? The greatest goaltender in the game.
Well, the good thing was he was cheering for the Avalanche, and they were doing well at the time.
Yeah, and then what happened to the Avalanche?
So when they lost, I was like, hey, how's the Avalanche?
To the toilet seats? Yeah, to the Habs. Yeah, that was good. Oh, wow.
But, no, speaking about, like, memorabilia, I've started thinking about that I need to actually get a better collection. So I've been thinking, and I was like, maybe I should just get, like, no-named people that would be
we figured this out. We're going to be Kraken fans, remember?
Yeah, but I wanted to buy that one thing, but I don't think Sammy would let me.
Oh, I don't think
it's
so either.
$200.
You need to get a job.
Yeah, but even if I had a job, I still have to get the okay.
Well, is it the okay, or do you discuss it, and then you're like, well, I'm going to make an overriding vote here?
Well, there are times that we talk about things.
You should always talk about big purchases with your spouse.
Yes.
Always.
But we talk about things, and I talk about how I might want to get something. And then I explain all the things to her, and she won't say no, but she doesn't say yes. And if she doesn't say either, I assume it's whatever I want to do.
Oh boy, that's a scary line to walk on, ain't it?
We're still together, so it's working out. Well, like the other day, I was going to buy a Mario Party for the Switch so we could play that.
Well, that would be a good purchase.
That's what I thought.
Because you would come over on Sundays, and me, and we would play Mario
Sammy
Party.
Said she didn't really like Mario Party. So
would she like it if she got to play it with my wife and me?
That's what I don't know.
Well,
so I was.
How does she know she doesn't like Mario Party? She's played it.
I don't know. We'll have to talk to her tonight. Yeah. And if she's.
It's a done deal. It's already sold.
Oh.
Because we brought it up on the radio.
Oh, yeah. That's how we do it.
Yeah, that's how we get what we want. Okay, how about some nerdy news?
Yes.
Right? We're sports guys who talk nerds. Right on. Oh, COVID.
I painted some cool minis.
COVID, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you saw my one.
I know.
The
Demon Hunter.
It's all prime. I'm waiting for my paint.
Right.
What's your nerdy news?
My nerdy news is X-Men. Henry Cavill is going to suit up as Cyclops in the new X-Men movie.
He's the stupidest one.
Yes, but I know your favorite's probably Wolverine.
It
Why?
is!
Because Wolverine is everyone's favorite.
No. I have specific reasons why.
Why?
How many Canadian ones do you know that are cool?
Is that why he's short?
No, he's short because he's like animalist.
Like, that was the one knock on Hugh Jackman playing him. He was a little tall. He's not small and stocky like Wolverine was, but after like 15 minutes of watching, like, he's Wolverine.
Yeah. No, he's always Wolverine now.
But you got an Aussie playing a Canadian guy.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
You guys just swap out, you Canadian guy?
Can you imagine? Like, this is the only thing that always got
me.
Me.
Oh, well, but you can't deny, Cavill can't pull it off. I mean, he's played The Witcher, and he's done a great job.
Yeah, that's fine. Anybody can play Cyclops. You can play
He is
Cyclops.
kind of lame.
Yeah, exactly. All you have to do is be like, I just don't like everyone. Oh my goodness, we need to be a team.
He's the team leader.
Yeah, and all he does is cry. And he's like, Jean Grey likes Wolverine more than me.
I don't know if that's true, but
It's true. They do the mind thing.
It's the fur.
He's
and the
animalist.
Yeah.
He's animalistic.
But I
I
mean,
don't even know if that's a word.
I'm waiting for Phase 4, man, with the Marvel characters or with all the X-Men jumping into the Marvel universe, and they totally did it with Loki. I mean, like the multiverse, like, woo!
It would be pretty cool. But
Like-
then everyone would be like, the Avengers are lame.
They have actually with the new Eternals coming out, they're like they are kind of lame. If the Eternals were paying attention, they would have fixed it. But
Yeah.
from my understanding, I haven't watched the Eternals because it's not out yet. But they're immortals, like godlike. They just forgot who they are
Oh, yeah.
because they've been around so long. Can you imagine that? Like living so long, you just like forgot you had powers. I would never forget I had powers because I play with them all the time.
Like the other day, I forgot how old I was turning in August.
38.
30. Yeah. I don't even know anymore
You know how I know this, right?
because I'm just younger than you.
1 year, almost exactly.
You're old.
Shut up,
They're like, you're 1 year older than me. That gives you a slightly higher chance of me outliving you.
Not if you play hockey.
Oh no, that's gonna keep me in shape.
Round.
Round's a shape.
It softens the blow.
Do you know how hard it is to hit a circular object rather than a rectangle?
I get hit with that circular object constantly, remember? So there's a little bit of nerdy news. I can't wait for the D&D movie. I want to see it.
And so, like, is it just going to be based in the realm? Or is it going to be like people get sucked into it again?
I have no idea.
Or are you talking about the one that we think is going to be about Dritz?
No, that's the TV series, which is going to be cool. That has to be about, because I mean that's the only character anybody cares about.
Yeah.
By R.A. Salvatore, unless you get deep, which the Cleric Quintet is a ton of fun. It's with the two dwarfs. And
I mean, it might be about that because then they would have a little bit more freedom of not offending people.
right. Yeah, I did start a new book though called I was going to tell you about it earlier, but I didn't. The Henchman.
You mean you started another
Audiobook series? Yes.
Don't make it to tell. I don't want people at home thinking you read.
I can read sometimes.
Yeah, but I don't
I just don't
feel
have-
like I'm the person that's dumb.
Well, no, people like audiobooks are amazing because right now, like, it gives me a chance to listen and to books that I would love to read. I don't have time to sit and read, but when I'm working, I get something going in the background and I can listen to it.
So people know Derek Prince. So it's not like he's doing like something like dangerous, like jet skiing with passengers while he's listening to it.
Yeah, I manufacture, but
I just want people to know that you're not like doing some crazy dangerous job while being distracted by your.
But yeah, right. So it's called The Henchman, but it's about a guy who he's like a guy like you or me. He drives a beer truck.
Mhm.
He's a former professional baseball player. His wife and kid end up getting killed in a car accident, right? But he gets sucked into this fantasy world, into this amazing fighter's body. But the whole time, and I'm only in the second book, but he's still convinced he's dreaming. Like he's like the world's greatest swordsman. And eventually he bumps into another guy who's been sucked into the world. It's a lot of fun. Like I've seen several books and read several books about people that are being sucked into like D&D.
So is it almost like Quantum Leap-ish?
Kinda.
Okay.
Where his like, it's not because he's in the guy's body. He's not there physically. He's just, I don't know what happened to his body. It doesn't say in the book. But I mean, he has all the guy's memories, his knowledge. But the only time he picks up a memory is when somebody talks about something that's related to it. He's like, oh, because otherwise he doesn't think of the memory unless it's triggered. So he turns out being one of these greatest swordsmen in the world. And he runs into this bad guy who's carrying a 6-gun revolver. And he's like, that's not for me. So there's obviously some way to get in and out. So it's a mini series. It's a pretty good series.
Sounds pretty cool.
I've actually wanted to run a D&D campaign where you guys play yourselves, but you get sucked into the world. A good series of books for adults out there would be The Caverns and Creatures. If you haven't read them, oh my God, they are hilarious, but they are not for kids.
I'm trying to think how I would do. I feel like I would just be a bard. And I'd probably die.
Be a bard.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to think of like what you would really do, if I had a dragon coming at me, I wouldn't fight it.
Well, we've all had that moment where we're like staring at a movie and we're like, you know what? If I was in this movie, I'd change this. I'd do. I'm like, this is stupid. Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you make it more interesting?
And they actually did make a movie, and it was terrible. The Last Action Hero, where the kid gets sucked in the movie. Like that movie had such a great. And I didn't know this, but Shane Black actually was part of that movie, and he got cut out of it. I don't know if you know who Shane Black is, but he's done a lot of all kinds
I'm about to find out.
He's a writer, director, producer that has done a ton of movies. But he got pulled out of doing the movie, and they had like 4 or 5 different directors for this movie, which probably explains why it got so terrible, because you got 4 or 5 different guys trying to put one movie together, and well, you get this part and you get this part, and it was awful.
But I mean,
the concept was great though, being sucked into a movie where you know what's going to happen.
As long as you have the magic ticket.
Right. Like, this is just a flesh wound. You got shot in the chest, man.
You trying to get down.
You just wiped tar off yourself with a paper towel. And it was right in the middle of the Stallone, Schwarzenegger, they weren't really like against each other or anything, but they were like the action stars at the time. And they put Stallone in the Terminator outfit, and you see Arnold in one scene in the movie. He's like, he's a great actor. And just like, God, that had to hurt to say that. Because Terminator 2 was Schwarzenegger's crown jewel. Even to this day, it's probably his best movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's where he actually got to string more than just a couple sentences together.
Terminator 1 is still a great movie, but
he doesn't really talk in that one.
I'll be back. I mean, that's where he coined that phrase, but yeah.
But most of the time, if you watch it, it's just a lot of his.
I could name one. I could name another movie where there was like the main character said even fewer lines. You ever watch Soldier with Kurt Russell?
No.
I think he says 158 words in the whole movie.
Jeez. I do more than that in like a minute.
I know you like to talk.
I do like to talk.
We get our week's worth of talking done on this show.
Yeah, and what people don't realize is we talk even more as the day goes on.
Our wives hate us.
But there are times, like how many times have we been talking? We're like, stop it. We have to save it for the show.
We did that like twice earlier when we had to go to the store.
So we're afraid to talk about it too much and then forget to talk about it.
But we've hit most of the topics we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer. Bacon, computers, booze.
We're hitting like 3 Bs.
Oh.
I know computers don't have B in it.
I was going to say, but there's no B in it. Just a world without bacon? Tragic. I'm hungry.
You're making me sad. I'm glad we're going to eat bacon.
Right.
I'm going to put some music on for people.
For people.
Some people are like, like our wives, stop talking and play some music.
Oh, they watch us on YouTube now, so if they can't hear the music, I don't know.
Well, we're going to play some nice music here. Let's get some vertical rising. What's this? Yeah, it's a good one.
Wow.
So have you figured out who that was?
Who what was?
Messaging you on there?
Yes.
You go with him?
Yes, I worked with him. He, so a short story about Hayden and I used to game together, right? He used to live here. And I got him into D&D. I'm proud to say that. Like he had always wanted to try, but he'd never had any DMs, going around to play. Because he was about our age, and like when you remember when you were in school, right? You didn't openly announce that you played D&D, right? You got your shit stuffed in a locker. Well, one day I'm at the news because he worked with me in the newspaper, and I'm talking like you and I talk sports. I'm talking football with a guy, and Hayden just stops and he looks right at me. He goes, "You know more about sports and Dungeons and Dragons than anyone I've ever met. Did you stuff your own ass in a locker in high school?" I'm like, well, I could have. Because, I mean, I've never been a part of that I hate the stigma where you're either a jock or a nerd. I'm like, I hate that. Stop putting people in a box. Like, get out there, try things. You never know, you might like it.
Yeah, like the only reason for me, if somebody was like, "Oh, you're a nerd, you play D&D," I was like, "Because you haven't played it."
Right? Like
I'm sorry that you don't have friends that want to try cool games.
Like honestly, I the more people that I've had, like they're like, "Oh, I've wanted to try it," but I was always too scared to.
How did we become friends, Derek?
You shot pucks at my face.
Yeah, but while we were there.
No, my wife brought it up.
I know, but it was that, and I was like,
Dungeons and Dragons brought us together.
D&D?
So if my wife cannot complain that you and I have a semi-gay relationship, because it's her fault.
Yeah, she created it.
She did.
She said it was okay.
You mentioned Dungeons and Dragons. You're like, really?
Hmm?
Right? He plays. I do.
Well, that was the thing that made me be like, I know.
And then we kept finding that, oh, and it drives my wife nuts. All the stupid things that we have in common. She's like, seriously? Another thing you two like to do together? Sorry. But last week, like when we got done with the radio show, we went to put in my floor, right? No, I was out after the radio show. That was just, what, Monday or Tuesday? Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
We were in my bathroom, and I am not making this up. We were listening to Bryan Adams putting in my bathroom floor together, both singing along. It was great times.
Yeah, and we had a lot of caulk.
Yep. Everywhere.
Yeah,
there was caulk everywhere. Filling gaps everywhere.
Yeah, we can say we're not on the radio.
We're not on the radio, and it's caulk.
I know, but you know,
Innuendo.
people might hear something different, turning up their hearing.
Can you imagine just walking through the room and hearing caulk?
Yeah. Well, remember we were walking down Walmart, and that guy was like, "Whoa, sorry," and I was like, "It's because we had so much caulk in our heads."
I know. I had 2 tubes of caulk in my hand. Yeah. Come on, nicely though.
I just got asked who my favorite Leaf player was of all time.
I don't know any good Leaf players.
Doug Gilmour.
I think I've asked you that, and I don't remember because I don't know.
Doug Gilmour's pretty. Back when he was on there with like, because I have Wendell Clark, I have an autographed stick of his. But him and Doug Gilmour were like a crazy pair.
Crazy.
We trouble?
I don't know.
No.
Apparently, we're we're not soulmates. We're bromates.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
I don't want to sleep with him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe cuddle.
Yeah. If it's cold.
Yeah, if it was cold enough.
We'd spoon for warmth. Oh, okay. So we got 30 minutes, man. I ran out of stuff. What do you got? You seen anything in the news lately?
Have I seen any news lately?
That's
we talked about it.
Did we? Well,
I mean, no surprise. Florida's COVID cases are going way up.
well, yeah, there you go.
And I keep seeing this, and I want to go home.
Why? What are you looking at?
BLT.
Oh, I know, right? I love BLTs.
I don't know anything about baseball trades, Amanda.
Oh, yeah, we could talk about that. Javi Baez was traded to the New York Mets.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Terrible thing if you're a Cub fan.
Why?
Because he's the best player on that team.
Why would I on that?
Because baseball's weird that way.
Okay.
Well, baseball, I'm not the aficionado on baseball, but baseball is a lot like hockey.
Ah, shit.
Not all of baseball, or like hockey, not all of its talent sits in the NHL or the major leagues, right? A lot of the talent sits down in the minors for a while, right? They just do this all the time.
Okay.
But Javi was probably one of the best players on that team. And the Yankees traded him for prospects. because
Did you get old or something?
no, he's still in his prime, and that's probably why they did it, because he was probably gonna ask for a huge contract. This is my opinion. I don't know anything for sure, but since he was probably gonna want a lot of money, and you know this as well as any, because the NHL's salary cap is so low, you cannot hold on to players to the end of their contracts because it's just going to cost you a fortune. So you keep them for as long as you can, then you move them for more money and for cap space. And that's basically what I'm guessing they did. But they traded the best closing pitcher in the league, Craig Kimbrell, Javi Baez, and then you got Rizzo, who went to the Yankees. Now, these two, Rizzo and Baez, their on base percentage is in the 850s, 860s. So they get on base a lot. You know, what's the most important thing in baseball? Get on base, right? It's like
I get to third base a lot.
And then you're throwing out at home.
Yeah. So I was at third base.
But my wife is a huge Cubs fan. And so the thing is like they don't want to spend all this money on these players, so they move them and try and bring up new talent. And they found these players. They didn't find Rizzo. Rizzo was drafted, I believe, by the Mets. I can't remember who was drafted by. But they bring in talent from other places. Baseball trades are crazy.
It's kind of like basketball.
Well, honestly, actually, the crazy trades really come in hockey. Like I was telling you earlier, the Eric Lindros trade from 25 years ago is still affecting teams right now, to this day.
Oh, yeah. We got to go back on the air.
On the air.
And we are back.
Right?
Like how I did that?
We faded right in. We're talking baseball trades, everybody. The Cubs literally gutted their entire team to rebuild.
The famous rebuilding.
Right?
You know, I wish you could just do that with like your house. You're like, you know what? We're gonna knock everything down, just rebuild.
You can if you have an obscene amount of money.
Yeah, but I don't.
I don't either. Remember, our house would be crooked if we built a house from scratch.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this out to the people. If you guys donate enough money to us, we will build a house.
It won't be the spec.
And then we'll build that house. And you can't get somebody to go in and safety it. But we will. Then everybody that donated something will get put into a draw.
Right.
And we'll draw the name, and then they'll own that house.
They won't want it. The minute they touch the doorknob, it comes off. Really? And then it falls over.
It only took us 13 years to build it.
So another thing that I forgot to mention, that baseball is different than most other sports. And the reason that the Cubs are probably doing this, but baseball doesn't have salary caps. So there are rich teams and there are poor teams. Hence why the Yankees own everything. They're the richest team in sports. So, and they hold more championships than any other team. So a lot of those mid-tier, and yet again, I love a team, but has won a championship in the last 30 years, just now 30 years. Man, I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't like any teams that ever win. But I can say the Twins have won 2 World Series in my lifetime. 91, 92.
It's kind of weird that they don't have like caps.
It's based on how much the team can afford, which is crazy. But that's, the Cubs are one of the most prolific teams, most notable teams, and have money, but they don't want to spend it.
Well, they did that in hockey. Toronto would be the richest team.
But how do you figure that?
Toronto makes the most money out of all the.
Okay. But so the NHL put in the cap for them, right?
Kind of for that kind of reason. They didn't have a cap at one point, and that's where you got the Detroit Red Wings created an ultimate team, and it had like Yzerman, Fedorov.
They drafted those players though,
Mm-hmm.
or stole them from Russia. That's a fun. If you guys ever get a chance to watch the Russ and 5 documentary, even if you don't like hockey, it is so fun. The Detroit Red Wings talked several Russian hockey players into defecting from their own country to come play hockey. Now, it was a good time to defect. This is back before the Soviet Union fell. So it was not a good time for them. So, but they would they would go over there with bags of money and be like, if you come to play hockey, you're going to be.
Can you imagine someone coming to your house and be like, hey, you moved to Idaho, I'll give you this bag of money.
Right. Done. You give me a bag of money, I'll live just about anywhere. Depends on how much money's in the bag, though. Except Florida. I don't live in Florida. It's too hot there. But salary caps were built to make games fair, and baseball is the most unfair game ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the Dodgers are so stacked. You don't follow baseball, but I mean, it would be like having Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid and who plays for Toronto. He's got the Mexi stash. Can't remember his name.
Then you don't deserve to.
Matthews.
Oh, okay.
Matthews, all on the same team. Like, we can afford these guys, so we're going to do it. We'll just pull them all on the same team. I mean, can you imagine what that line would do to people? And then we're going to go get Carey Price in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Well, they just have Team Canada.
Right? And that's basically the way baseball works. And the Yankees are like, hey, because my team is a farm system for the Yankees. Like, anytime we get somebody good and they look good, we trade them to the Yankees because the Yankees are like, here's some money. We'll take that player from you. And my team's like, we like money.
But I mean, they don't always win, do they?
Who, the Yankees?
Yeah.
No, but they do hold more world titles than anybody by a long shot.
But like I said, it's the same as like hockey. All those titles don't mean nothing because every year is a new year.
Yeah, but I think the Yankees have won more titles in the last 20 years than just about anybody in sports.
Well, then somebody else just
maybe
needs
the
to
Patriots might.
You know what they need? They need 2 announcers that could draw people in.
Ooh.
I mean, we drew a lot of people into that Hell Freeze stream.
Right?
Do you remember when we started that? And it was like 2 people. We're like, yeah. And it was like, what's the highest we had?
20 or 29.
Right? And we're just like, we have an audience.
Why are you guys listening to us?
And then not only that, we would finish, and then there would be like, I think the most we had was like 300.
The weirdest thing is a guy recognized us when we weren't on the radio.
Yeah.
He recognized you anyway.
Yeah, I was scared because I thought he
busted you.
It's like, what are you doing at a beginner tournament? I thought you were playing at that. No, he just wanted. He's like, I love that you guys did that radio. And
Well, I heard from several people because I knew several people. Like, I just watched it for the commentary. I'm like, we're morons. Why are you listening to us talk?
Well, people liked the Eddie's coming down the side, and
well, I think it was because every time we didn't know a guy's name, we gave him one.
Like Goldilocks.
Goldilocks there, yeah.
And we don't know if it's a male or a female, but they're playing pretty good.
Fu Manchu, yeah. There, if you had a name, you were famous. You did something impressive.
Well, and then everyone that we knew would be like, "Hey, Jerry Koo and Hopi Falls."
Well, we had Jerry doing our interviews for us. That worked out pretty fun.
That was awesome. I am hoping we can find a better way
to do that. Yeah, because that worked out really. We only did that one night because it was so hard and it killed his phone.
We would need one of us because Jerry had to do a bunch of other stuff. He couldn't hang out with us the whole time.
Yeah, God knows he wanted to.
Well, yeah,
because we're cool.
Well, everyone wanted to hang, and then.
Well, my favorite is like people are coming up. Are you guys live? Yeah.
Whoa!
No.
What? Gotta get in a frame. Gotta get on TV.
But we're hoping to do that again this year. We're looking for a better way of doing it, but we'll do what work. We'll do what we can. What are you doing?
Somebody says that they potentially could get me Leafs memorabilia, and I'm not going to turn down that.
Is it knockoff?
No.
You know what? Honestly, I've looked for NHL knockoff stuff. You can't find it. Like the NHL has cracked down on that. Wicked hard, like
except for the jerseys that my wife and I got.
Because you had to get them from like a Chinese.
The store got shut down like the day after we ordered, but our order still showed.
Because the NHL's like boom. Because that logo.
Hammer.
Well, because the logo hadn't actually been approved yet. That's how soon you got it, and it fit really weird.
Well, Sammy's fit great, Mine would fit good if I was just being a fan, but I needed to widen it a bit for the.
Well, you just need to get thinner.
It wouldn't matter. My equipment, because of my huge shoulders, were making the issue.
Huge shoulder. You guys are seeing him, right? Huge shoulders. Look at the guns on that guy.
You know what? These guns.
They're pellet guns, man.
These guns play hockey better than you do.
Because you've been playing hockey longer than me.
I know, it's just muscle memory. It has nothing to do with anything else. If I was actually in shape, I wonder how hard my shot would turn into.
I wouldn't be in net.
Well, that's just it. I'm trying to build myself to be okay to play at the beginner level.
So you just need to play blindfolded.
I still think I'd be too good.
Didn't you see it in the Mighty Ducks series?
Yes, and that was dumb.
Yeah, the series to me was fun, but after playing hockey for the last few years, I'm like, they could have just slid that in. They didn't have to run that stupid play. Like where they run the Michigan play. The goalie's not even on the post. Like he could have just slid it past his feet.
They literally just and I told Sammy that they could have done that scene a couple times and then made it look more realistic with the goalie getting tight and then it getting under the top.
That's what they did in the Michigan game. He put it over his shoulder. That's the only reason it worked.
Yeah.
And now everybody's copied.
Well, and then how many times in that show did somebody be like, let's do the blindfold or something? And then you'd be like, everyone else on the other team has just stopped doing things. You know, they're not. Hockey is one of the fastest games.
Oh, it's insane fast.
That you play that's not like motorized. You know, it's actually people. Because I want people to be like,
you're 30-mile-an-hour missiles on skates.
Right?
It's crazy.
So then even kids are quick.
Oh yeah.
And you can't tell me that a kid has enough time to go and look where the shot's going to be, look into the audience to notice his parents has arrived, then look over to his friends and be like, I'm going to do it.
It's dramatic.
And then shoot it, and the goalie hasn't even moved.
And let's be honest, how offsides is the flying V?
It is only offside if the first person doesn't get it, but all you have to do is smoke that person.
Plays over.
Even like if
and then it's a domino effect because they're so close to him, you get them all.
You know, when we were in Great Falls, and because I'd had a couple when we were playing, I wanted to convince the line that we were on to do the flying V when we were winning that one game by like 3.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think
we won almost all of our games by like 3.
Well, the first
one. No, we won 1-0. 1-0.
And that was scary.
We were loose. We weren't very loose that game, though. I think we loosened up after that game because we had never won.
Well, I was still at that. Well, how much should I play? Well, I didn't know.
I watched you clip the boards. It was so funny. I'm standing in deck going, what's he doing?
I did it, though.
You did do it.
Everyone laughed.
You took a shot from your knees and almost scored.
I did. Because I wanted to try to shoot from the knees.
Oh, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Hockey's soon coming.
Oh, I can't wait for the cold.
And then we're going to complain about the cold?
I don't complain for the cold really much, unless it's like ridiculously cold. Because honestly, in my position, I don't get cold. People ask me all the time, don't you get cold? I'm like, God, I'm sweating so bad right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because you're in like 500 pounds of sweaty equipment.
Gross equipment. Nothing was grosser than watching Jeff put on Chad's pads after Chad had already worn them for an hour and a half.
So, to give people an idea, if you've ever taken a T-shirt and like jumped in the water and then you took it off.
Just wring it out.
Right? No, but you didn't even wring it out. You just jumped out. You jump back out of the water. You know, you're playing a little bit. You dried off a little bit. And you're like, I think it might be dry enough, but you can tell it's really not. And you try to put it on, and it's sticking to you as you try to get it in. That's what Jeff looked like trying to get into his goalie equipment.
No, the best reaction was he's like, "This is so gross."
Because it was just like all wet, and he was like, "It's like I'm slipping through a grease trap." Yeah.
All the things we do so we can play hockey, right?
Yeah. And he wanted to make sure that the Speed League
had a goalie.
Right, had a goalie. Because we weren't doing that.
Well, I couldn't, otherwise I would have.
And I am not that good. And I
Well,
would get
you and your street hockey helmet would get killed.
Yes. Yeah, I wear my street hockey helmet when I'm playing with beginners.
Yeah, you don't have too much to worry about. Except for when I was gone, you used my equipment.
Yes, but your equipment is really big on me.
Well, that's because I'm bigger than you.
Yeah, I know. We talked about you being the fat kid.
Stop saying I'm fat. I'm husky.
Oh, that's what it is. Why, you worried about your finger?
No, it's a father figure,
Exactly.
right?
I mean, my wife's still with me, so I gotta have something.
Because it costs too much to divorce you. Oh.
Oh, it's almost that time. Oh, somebody's came into the building.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to be on the radio? We're live right now.
We are live.
Yeah.
Well, hello, I'm shy now.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So Derek and I, we usually come here and we have snacks. Today,
We went healthy.
yeah, we brought our nuts.
Yep. Honey roasted and cashews.
Yep. Honey roasted peanuts. Some cashews. What's it say? Cashews, halves, and pieces.
Right?
That's because they have to say pieces because some broke during transport.
Well, it's like the bottom of the potato chip bag. Like the first half of the bag, you're like, oh, I'm getting whole chips. And then after that, you're like,
How many times have you bought a bag of chips and then you accidentally sat on them and just went, well, these are done?
you know what I miss? Back in the day, when you got done with the Lay's potato chip bag and you could see the oil inside of the bag.
You missed that?
Yeah. Like you pull your hand out and it looked like it was growing potato chips because it was so oily and
You're
sticky.
like, oh.
I was a really fat kid as a kid.
Everyone listening is like, yep, Derek's the pick.
But they remember,
They probably do.
like, you know,
My parents couldn't afford Lay's chips.
oh, they always got
We
the
could
one.
always get President's Choice. That's what
It was the bag that was just pure white that said potato chip on
Yeah.
it.
And then when you opened it, it was just grease.
And they were all broken.
Where you'd be like, I remember being a kid, and you'd reach in, you'd be like, oh, well, if I grab these three and hold them together, it's like a full chip.
Dip. Oh, I lost half of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, you've done that.
And then you reach
grab
back
the
in.
You grab the handful of crumbs and still try to dip
Dip
them.
them. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got some French onion dip or some ranch dip. You gotta try and get in there.
Oh,
You all right?
I still have sawdust. So, but the people are probably like, oh, what do you mean sawdust? So, we were doing some work today. Oh, we're gonna have a whole bunch of people on the radio.
Well, we'll see.
We were sanding some stuff down, and Derek brought a belt sander, and for some reason, the vent for it shooting the
Sawdust, which is in your eye.
was right at the top of it, shooting you in the face. And then we eventually were like, oh, there's a bag for that. We put the bag on. It didn't help.
There's a big hole right where it. I've never understood it.
just shoot you in the face, a bunch of sawdust. But cool thing, what just happened in there?
Mhm.
We just had some students walk by. Apparently, because our facilities here are not open until Wednesday, they don't have availability to their food yet. Because they probably got like the what is that called? Like a little card that has the money that they can use to get the cafeteria. So one of the
You're a college student. I'm not. You know these things. I don't know nothing.
one of the professors here is buying food for the kids that are here right now and supplying them with food until the food services opens up on Wednesday. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's a pretty nice thing. And I know she helps run the Little River Institute up here. So it's pretty cool. In case people were wondering who we were talking to as they walk by. Because remember, we have our door open here. In case anybody walks by, we could try to get them on the show. But everybody's usually too shy and doesn't want to talk to us.
Hey, if you ever want to be on the show, just let us know.
Yeah, you can just come up to the window or even the door if the door is locked and scream bloody murder. And we'll still probably show up, but we might, depending on how you're acting, call 911 just in case. Well, I don't know. We're getting close to the end here.
I know, trying to find one last thing to maybe bring up here, but it's the thin pickings. But
Thin Pickens.
thin thickens. I mean, some of these things are just murk. Because we try not to get really political and stuff on this. And the hardest thing is trying to find stuff that isn't political. Here's an interesting thing. It's kind of sad, but I don't know anything about it because I don't watch General Hospital. But actor Jay Pickett died while shooting a movie scene.
Jake?
Pickett, yep.
Trying to
Died of unknown causes on Friday at the age of 60. The picture of him, does he look 60 to you?
No.
Jay Pickett. What'd you put in there?
I don't want to talk about it. Like, how do they spell it?
His name is Jay.
Oh, Jay Pickett.
You didn't even get that first name right, let alone the back that last name. Pickett. Right there. He's 60, huh?
Well,
They're gonna hang upstairs for a while.
okay.
Air conditioning.
Oh, yeah. I would hang up.
Definitely.
I mean, they're going to come down here and hang. We got AC.
For the next 3 minutes.
Yeah. We got 3 more
Yeah.
minutes of
I
airtime.
didn't realize there was one of those units in here. That's why I'm in my office. And
Oh, yeah.
down there.
And it's so cold in here because it's a tiny room for that big thing that we leave the door open.
Yes, I can feel it. It feels nice.
So
Anyway, they're just gonna be up
Oh, yeah, no problem.
there. Okay. Yeah.
for you out there who are, what show? What did I say that was?
General Hospital.
General Hospital. Jay Pickett.
You know,
That's passed.
like the crazy thing, like it's sad that he died, but you were asking, like, does he look 60?
Yeah.
Could you imagine how healthy we would be if we had somebody that made the meals? Like, I would eat healthy meals every day if somebody made them for me.
I do make your meals most days.
I know, but not every day. And
So, okay, so sorry, 5 days a week.
But they're not. Also, sometimes they're not very healthy. We just eat them because they're damn good. Right? Like, if you make like 20 hamburgers, and I eat 7 of them, that's not healthy.
That's because you're a pig and don't know when to stop.
I do know when to stop.
When you're full.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of actors, like, people just look at them when they're in their old, like an older age, and they've been acting a long time, and they go, "Oh my God, like, how do they look so young?" And I'm like, well, a lot of people, if you are healthy and you're able to be healthy all the time, it would be a little easier. Like, I would work out if I had a person that I was paid to come to my door and drag me to the gym.
Oh, we got something we could talk about before I brought it up to you the other day. It's about the Olympics. Did you hear the story where the person thought they won the bicycling?
Oh, yeah.
They thought they won gold, and it turns out they took second.
What's the name of that person?
Just like cyclists.
Biker things. She won gold.
Yeah.
It was like one of those.
She was stoked. It was pretty fun.
It's Annemieke van Vleuten.
She's not from here.
She thought she had won. But
Right.
What was it? She was behind by a minute.
Like a minute and 20 seconds. So what happens in these bicycling? If you saw it, you know what happened. But apparently there's a big breakout. What happens? And some cyclists get way ahead. Well, it turns out the person who won gold had got so far ahead that she couldn't see her. Well, most cyclists, when they're cycling, they're not looking forward. They're just looking down at the ground because you've been in that situation when you're trying to pick up speed. You don't look forward. You look down at the ground. Well, that cyclist that got so far ahead, she didn't know that she was still in second. So when she crossed the line, she was like, yeah! And she has no communication with her manager or anybody on the side. So she was celebrating like she'd won the gold medal. And then all of a sudden her coach and manager come up to her and go, you got second.
No, I didn't. There was nobody in front of me.
And then, but she took it like, it was funny. She took it like a champ because she was, you know, I mean, it was just one of those fun things. I mean, just a chance to compete in the Olympics, you know, as an athlete, has got to be one of the biggest things.
I mean, it's been one of my crowning achievements that I've never accomplished.
And on that note, this has been Average Rants.
Yeah, you could listen to us on KNMC
90.1
FM.
Gotta love that.
All right, we'll put you back to your regular scheduled programming that everyone's looking forward to.
2 hours